Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our Festivals and Projects info session. Before we get started, as Charles let us know, we wanted to let everyone know that we have closed captioning services turned on for this webinar, and you can turn them on by clicking the live transcript function. If you have questions or comments during the webinar, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box and a staff member on the team will respond. I will also try to address a few questions towards the end. To better introduce myself, my name is Timothea Pham, and I am a program officer with the Community Initiative team at the Mass Cultural Council. I'm also here today with a few of my team members who I'll introduce in a bit. Today, I'm calling in from East Somerville, Massachusetts, and I'm a Vietnamese American woman with straight, long brown hair, medium tan skin, and a brown sweater. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers. So for the agenda today, we are going to be giving you an overview of the Festivals and Projects program, examples of previously funded festivals and projects, key dates for you, a review of guidelines for applying, which includes eligibility, and an overview of the application process. And also at the end, we're going to have time for some questions. So today's presenters, we have myself, Timothea Pham, a program officer with the Community Initiative team. And then we have Kaylin Kang, also, who is a program officer with the Cultural Investment Portfolio. And we are also joined by some awesome team members of ours. We have Jay Wong, who is a program officer with the Community Initiative team. We have Gelmi Espinal, who is also a program officer with the Community Initiative team. And we have Charles Baldwin, who is our Access and Inclusion Program Officer. And we are so lucky to have our ASL interpreter, Kristen Kennedy, and captions by Francisco Filbert. So a little bit about the Festivals and Projects program this year. So Festivals and Projects provide one-year grants of $2,500 to support publicly available cultural activities. These grants opened on October 25th. And as you may or may not know, the Festivals and Projects grants were previously separate, and we chose to combine them this year due to the capacity of the agency, but also just a large amount of public programming efforts coming from the public. We wanted to do what we could to support these efforts. And so eligible projects will include projects, festivals, and/or activities that are publicly available between July 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. So what are some examples of festivals and projects? So for festivals, we wanted to highlight, Arlington Porch Fest, which happened in spring of 2022, which was produced by the Arlington Center for the Arts. As you can see here, this is a photograph of the actual event, Arlington Porch Fest, which was held in the Arlington Cultural District. We have the Asian Festival that happened in summer of 2022 that was produced by the Southeast Asian Coalition of Central Massachusetts. We have the Franklin Cultural Festival that was held just this past fall of 2022, and it was produced by the Franklin Cultural Council. And then another type of festival that we funded is Holidays in Holyoke in winter of 2021, which was produced by the Wisteria Hearst Museum Association. So what are some examples of some projects? We have Newton Outdoors, which was produced by Newton Pride Corporation. As you can see here, there is an awesome photo of this project specifically. We have concert and master classes with Daniel Bernard Rumel, produced by the Ashmont Hill Chamber of Music. The Lowell Kinetic Sculpture Race, produced by the Greater Lowell Community Foundation, and the Commonwealth of Poetry Project by the Plymouth Bay Cultural District. So these are a few key dates for you to keep in mind. So on October 25th, the application opened. On November 8th, which is today, this is our information session. On December 15th, the application will close. On February 2023, awards will be finalized and email notifications will be sent. And during this time in February, contracts will also be sent. And July 14th, 2023 is when the final report will be due. So let's talk a little bit about Festivals and Projects program eligibility. So you are eligible if you have a project, festival, or activity that is primarily focused on promoting access, diversity, or education in the arts, humanities, or interpretive sciences. If it's available to the general public, whether via free or paid admission, and again, if the program or project or festival takes place between July 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. Programs that are also eligible have a minimum project budget of $2,500. They take place in Massachusetts, whether in person or virtually, is accessible to persons who are deaf or have a disability, is not an event for a political candidate running for office, does not have the effect of advancing religion, and does not discriminate on the basis of race, gender, religious creed, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, age, gender identity, or sexual orientation. Now, please keep in mind these eligibility requirements. So later on in the presentation, I'm going to be walking you all through the application. And with that, in the beginning, there is an eligibility quiz where all of these eligibility points will be addressed. So let's talk a little bit about applicant eligibility. So we encourage that you apply if your group, collective, or organization is a federally or state recognized tribe or an urban Indian organization with ties to the land that is currently known as Massachusetts. Or if you are a fiscally sponsored organization with a Massachusetts address that conducts the majority of your programming in Massachusetts. This means you are an unincorporated organization with a nonprofit objective or an incorporated organization in the process of getting your federal tax exempt status. Again, if you have questions about these eligibility requirements, you can put them in the Q&A and a team member will get back to you. So for the third applicant eligibility point, you are a for-profit corporation or a limited liability company that is privately owned by individuals, has a Massachusetts address on a business's federal business or partnership tax return form, or has 3 or fewer locations. So this is a little bit different than our applicant eligibility requirements in the past with projects and with festivals. And for the fourth, you can be a municipal organization, creating or presenting your own public cultural activities. So examples would include local cultural councils or cultural districts. And then for the last, you could be a Massachusetts recognized nonprofit whose federal tax exempt status is currently active. So another thing that I did want to mention is organizations receiving funding from Mass Cultural Council's cultural investment portfolio, including Gateway or Youth Reach programs in FY23 are not eligible to apply. So right now I'm going to hand it over to my team member, Kaylin King, and she's going to be talking a little bit about the review process.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many people on this webinar. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kaylin King. I'm a program officer at the Mass Cultural Council. I am a 30-something white woman with blonde shoulder-length hair wearing a maroon jacket. Okay, so you've got an eligible project. Hooray! You've got an eligible type of organization. Fantastic. We would love to see an application come in from you. And as Timothea mentioned, she's going to walk through what that application looks like in a couple of minutes. But after we get an application from you, here's a little bit about our process. The Mass Cultural Council staff, so hello, us, will review your application for eligibility and for accuracy. We'll reach out to you if we have any questions or need you to make any edits. And then although we would love to fund everyone, we are expecting to get more applicants for this program than we have funding for. So there are some considerations that will play a factor, including geographic distribution, trying to make sure that the percentage of applicants from different parts of the state reflect the percentage of grantees. And then certain funding priorities are also going to play a factor we'll get into on the next couple of slides. So important to note, these are funding priorities and not eligibility requirements. So if you don't meet these, still apply. As long as you're eligible, still apply. Mass Cultural Council wants to broaden and diversify the range of people and organizations that we are able to fund through our programs. So we've set a couple of funding priorities. The first is for new or unfunded applicants, specifically organizations that have not received funding directly from the Mass Cultural Council in the last 3 years. So that does not include local cultural council funding. If you have only ever received local cultural council funding, you are still considered new to Mass Cultural Council as the broader entity. And then as Timothea mentioned, unfortunately, this program is not for organizations that are already receiving funding from us through the Cultural Investment Portfolio or Youth Reach programs in our FY23 grant year. 2 other categories that will receive priority are historically under-resourced communities, including BIPOC-centered organizations and projects that are happening in under-resourced cities and towns. Organizations that want to make a BIPOC-centered self-identification, there's a form that you fill out when you're in our grants management system. And then there's a full list of under-resourced communities available on our website. There are links to more information about both of those categories that I hope my colleagues can throw into the chat. There are 2 other funding priorities. First is for projects or festivals that are free to the public. And remember that to be eligible, all of the festivals or projects have to be publicly available in the first place. Then you get a little extra bonus if your activity is free. It doesn't have to be free to get a grant, just a little extra bonus. The other thing is participating in the Mass Cultural Council's Card to Culture program. This is a entirely voluntary program that expands cultural access to low income and working families. We partner with 3 other state agencies. Cultural organizations voluntarily offer free or steeply discounted admission tickets, etc., to people who meet those qualifications and are engaged with our agency partners. So Card to Culture, if you are not a part of it already, you can sign up. We would ask that you do sign up also by December 15th, which is the deadline to apply for this program. And there is an information session tomorrow, November 9th at 2 p.m. if you have more questions about what the Card to Culture program is and how to get signed up.
Great. Thank you so much, Kaylin. So now these are 2 specific links that you can go to access guidelines and priorities that we just discussed, including FAQs as well. So now I'm going to be walking you all through the grants management system, logging in and showing you what the application looks like. So first off, you can access the grants management system by going to massculturalcouncil.smartsimple.com. You can use your email address, which is your username, your unique ID. And if you've applied to, Mass Cultural Council grants in the past, you can click yes if you forgot your password to log in, or no to register and create a profile. And so you can send an email to our grants team, grants help desk at art.state.ma.us. But my team can write the modified email address in the chat in order to access the grants team. So again, this is the front page of the grants management system. So the first thing that you'll see when you're applying for the grant. So right now I'm going to do a screen share of the login page, registering as an organization, the homepage, and an application overview. So again, when you log in as a cultural organization, this is going to be your homepage. So right now you see 8 current opportunities. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to take a look at the festivals and projects grants. Again, deadline is December 15th, 2022. I'm going to click on the green Apply Now button. So as discussed before, these are some of the eligibility points that we went over during the presentation. So I'm going to walk you through that right now. So first, we're going to talk about the legal status of your organization. So please select the legal status that describes your organization. And so we have a few options here. Fiscally sponsored group, association, or collaborative, a Massachusetts recognized nonprofit, a municipal or state entity, a for-profit corporation, partnership, or LLC, federally or state recognized tribe, or an urban Indian organization, or other. So again, as I discussed before, my sample organization is a Massachusetts recognized nonprofit. And if you select an LLC, for example, you're going to see a few different questions about that. But right now, we're just going to stick to the cultural organizations. So the second question that is on this is or was the festival or project primarily focused on promoting access, diversity, or education in the arts, humanities, or interpretive sciences? Yes. Is or was the festival or project available to the public, whether free or paid admission? So again, a side note, performances only open to university students, K through 12 school groups, donors, members, or other limited audiences are not considered open to the general public. And again, you can see more guidance on our FAQs page, but let's just say that my project is, so yes. Did or will the festival or project take place between July 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2023? Yes. Did or will the festival or project take place in Massachusetts, whether in person or virtually? Yes. Did or will the festival or project have a project budget of at least $2,500, including all indirect costs and overhead? Yes. Is or was the festival or project accessible to persons who are deaf or have a disability? Yes. And is or was the festival or project an event for a political candidate running for office? My project is not. And again, keep in mind what we went over before. Did or will the festival or project have the effect of advancing religion? No. So again, so for this specific question, there are a lot of projects, a lot of festivals, concert series that come from churches. But again, so religious organizations are able to apply, but the primary focus needs to be promoting the arts, humanities, and interpretive sciences, not advancing religion. So for the last question, did or will the festival or project discriminate on the basis of race, gender, religious creed, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, age, gender identity, or sexual orientation? It does not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save Draft. And then afterwards, I'm going to check eligibility. So you should see this after you complete the eligibility quiz. You have successfully completed the eligibility quiz. Program staff will conduct a final eligibility review once you submit an application. Click on the Proceed button to begin the application. So I'm going to click Proceed at the bottom of the page. And now you are taken to the application. So at any point, you can click the application summary button to generate a PDF copy of your answers. If you're someone who likes to, put their answers on a document first, I would recommend doing this. So you have that in front of you and not just doing it right on the computer. And another tip I wanted to share is definitely please click Save Draft after every page. Sometimes technical errors come up and sometimes our system has issues. It's imperfect, but definitely just save draft just to make sure your answers are saved. So first section, we have applicant information. So you're going to put your applicant organization information here. Legal name, physical address, mailing address, parent organization, fiscal agent. And then primary contact information, verify that. And you can actually edit your primary contact information by going to your profile on your homepage. So after that, click Save Draft, and we're going to go to project information. So here we have our project discipline. So we have a number of different categories: dance, music, opera, musical theater, and so on. So we have our beginning date. When does or did the publicly available component of the festival or project start? Again, to be eligible, the festival or project must start on July 1st, 2022 or later. So again, you're going to put your beginning date, your end date, an optional explanation of start and end dates if there's any notes you want to enter, the name of your festival or project, the description. So provide a one-sentence description of the festival or project, including purpose and project location by completing this sentence. This grant will be used for project 2. This response may appear in communications to the public and in fiscal documents such as grant contracts. So after the description, we're going to be asking for a description of the festival or project's programming and activities. What is or was the goal of the purpose of the project or festival? And then who is or was your intended audience for this project or festival? So be sure to address how the festival was or will be available to the general public. Is or was your project or festival free to the public? You can click yes or no. And then we're going to ask, describe the steps you took or will take to ensure the project or festival is accessible to people who are deaf or have a disability. After, you're going to describe your festival or project location name. If virtual, write online only. If to be determined, write TBD. For your festival location in city and town, we're going to ask, in which city or town did or will most of your festival or project happen? So again, we have a drop down of all cities and towns in Massachusetts. You can provide us an optional explanation of your location. If you have multiple locations, you can give us a description here. And here is where you can put your festival or project website, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Again, there are a lot of new organizations or a lot of new projects that don't necessarily have these, but this is helpful for us when we are also promoting, our grantees. We want to be pulling great photos, sharing on our Facebook and our social media. So that's really helpful for us as well. So after, you're going to click Save Draft, and then you are going to go to Budget. So again, applicants must have a project cash expense of at least $2,500 for the festival or project. So you're going to click on the project budget button to enter your expenses. So again, you're going to click this and you're going to enter your line items. So let's say I am doing a regional poetry contest and I want to rent rental space. You can add whatever notes you want. Again, this is a very general description, but you could put 500. And again, the list goes on, right? So marketing and promotion. I want to do Facebook and Instagram ads. That's going to be 200. So you got the idea. And again, the project budget minimum is $2,500, but you're going to add all of your cash expenses for your project or festival in this section. So right now, we're going to go to projected income. Please briefly describe the other sources of projected income needed to complete this project or festival. You have 500 characters, and then you're going to describe your in-kind support. If applicable, please briefly describe any in-kind support you're getting for this project or festival. So if you're getting things donated, your space, equipment donated, that's where you're going to put it here. So you're going to click Save Draft again. And then now we're going to go to prioritization factors, which is what Kaylin was discussing during the presentation. So these prioritization factors include funding history, you know, the categorization of if you're located in an under-resourced community, if you self-identify as BIPOC, and your participation in card to culture. So these answers are already pre-filled, but if you do see that any of these are wrong, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll follow up with you on that. So after, you're going to click Save Draft, and then this is where, if you're ready to submit, you know, read all of these and authorize signature by clicking Submit below serves as an authorizing electronic signature. So you'll press Agree, and then you'll click Submit. And then afterwards, since I didn't fill out the application, I'm unable to do this right now, but you should see this message. Congratulations, you have successfully submitted your applications. Click on the home button to return to your home portal. And that should show up at the top right here. So for ongoing support, again, we have our office hours or small group meetings, which is included on our agency dates. And again, if you are not interested in that, we will be hosting 30-minute meetings with program staff, so myself or Kaylin, and we can walk through the application, walk through your ideas to see if it's a fit, and if you need anything else, we're here. And our email is festivals.projects@art.state.ma.us. Modified, it is festivals.projects@mass.gov. And then our shared phone number is 617-858-2821. And then here is the email address for our grants management system help desk. And then if you want to stay up to date on Mass Cultural Council's latest news and deadlines, please sign up for a newsletter or visit the Power of Culture blog. So a list of other online resources we have at Mass Cultural Council. We have our agency dates. We have our blog, so you can definitely sign up for our artist news, our community news, our e-newsletters, like I just said. Oh, that was it, the e-newsletter. And then our blogs are actually pieces that our staff write for the website. And that covers a number of different subject matter, which is really exciting. And then we have our grants management system, Mass Cultural Council .smartsymbol.com. So again, you can register once and apply for funding all year. You'll see current opportunities listed on your homepage. And then hirecultural.org, which is a free online listing of employment opportunities in Massachusetts. So again, if you have questions, please email us at festivals.projects@mass.gov. Kaylin and myself are going to be available to help you with whatever you need. We will be sending a recording of this webinar out. We will be editing, of course. I know I had some technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. And I just also wanted to thank the team here for being here again, but also a special shout out to Lisa Simmons, who is our program manager for the community initiative team. She previously led the festivals program. She created it. And Sarah Glidden, who is the program manager for the cultural investment portfolio. And both of them and the rest of our CIP and communities team have been really instrumental in helping us really form the festivals and projects grants. So right now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to be getting to some questions that you have.